How many promises did you make to yourself this week? Count them. Got them? Now, how many you kept? You don't know the number, do you? Well, your brain does. It runs that math before you finish hearing the question. The same way it's run it every single day, 4 years, on every single promise you've made to yourself. And it's keeping a ledger. And the problem is that your whole life, you've been telling that ambition is your greatest asset. You need to dream big, you need to want more, you need to say yes to every opportunity. But I've been spending the past 6 years tracking the daily execution of more than 400 founders. And my data says the opposite. Ambition is certainly the most expensive thing you own, because every yes is a check written against your own brain. And the most ambitious founders in my data, the ones saying yes to everything and making promises to themselves and to others, are the worst performers. They're the ones with permanent brain fog, procrastination, self-doubt. And the most successful performers on the planet, they follow the opposite playbook, the one that I'm going to be showing you in the next few minutes. Let's start with a little secret every Olympian knows about confidence that the self-help industry gets completely backward. Because you've probably treating confidence as a feeling, something you generate through affirmations, wins, and a good morning routine. That surface level, that never lasts. Ask a marathon runner on the start line if they feel confident. The most honest ones will say, it doesn't matter how I feel, because I've done the work. 16 weeks of training, that's the average time it takes to prepare for a marathon. And every single session they had to do was either done or skipped, and everything was written down. So confidence on race day isn't generated that morning by shouting affirmations in the mirror. It is deposited month earlier, one session at a time. And the brain runs the exact same logic on you whether you keep one or not. Neuroscience calls this predictive processing. Your brain is a forecasting machine, and one of the things that is constantly forecasting is you. Every commitment you make gets logged as a promise. Then the outcome gets logged next to it. If you keep your promises, the forecast upgrades and the next hard thing feels doable. If you break the promise, the forecast downgrades and confidence does not show up. So it is your brain prediction of whether you do what you're going to say based entirely on the previous past record. And the uncomfortable part is that most founders have never looked into their log. Just like an athlete without training log isn't an athlete, is an amateur. So if confidence is a log, the next question is, what happens when the log fills up with red? Meaning you don't keep your promises. Because that doesn't feel like you didn't keep your promises. It feels like something you probably felt today. Think about it. How many times do you reread the same email? How much do you hesitate on decisions that you used to make instantly? How many weeks do you plan goals on Monday that you forget about on Wednesday? You call this burnout, you call this brain fog, you call this a focus problem. Athletes have a precise name for it. It's overtraining syndrome. When training volume exceeds recovery capacity, performance collapses while effort increases. So your resting heart rate climbs, the output drops, and the harder you try to push, the worse everything gets. A coach spots it in numbers immediately. The athlete almost never spots it themselves. You're in commitment overtraining. If you have more than one business, tons of weekly commitments, and your brain refuses to release full energy on any of them, well, you have too many open commitments to actually keep them. And psychology now shows us that unfinished tasks keep intruding in your working memory every open loop that stays open. So each unclosed yes is charging interest in your mind, and you're paying it with attention. If you stack enough of them, your best cognitive hours go to servicing that debt instead of actually building something. And that's what generates procrastination. It's interest payments on execution debt. And that's the problem you're facing that no one told you before. Let me show you the math the way an athlete would see it. The constraint you keep ignoring is that your capacity to do things is fixed, but your ambition is not. So think about the decathlete, which is arguably the most impressive athlete in the stadium. He competes on 10 different sports, but by design is the least dominant in any single event. Specialists beat them in all 10 disciplines every time. Now run your own numbers. Say you have 40 real execution hours a week, and you have 3 commitments, 3 businesses, and you have 13 hours each, enough to actually close them, log the wins, and build a forecast. But imagine you have 10 commitments. Now you have 4 hours each. Well, almost nothing closes, and your brain doesn't log, I was overcommitted. The only thing it logs is, I broke 10 promises. The ledger on your brain records the outcome. It does not record the context. So it doesn't care what you wanted to do. It only cares what you actually ended up doing. And let me tell you, Olympians are more ambitious than anyone watching this channel. They just run their entire life to get one Olympic medal in one specific sport, and they still win. Not because they obsess more than everybody else, but because they say no to everything else. I've worked with 400 founders at this point. Those who are able to consolidate everything they need to do into one simple, clear path that they wholeheartedly commit to almost always end up winning faster than they thought possible. Their execution improves every single week the more focused they stay, because every closed loop, every kept promises rewires their brain for more clarity, more focus, and more consistent execution. So if you feel stuck right now, the solution is to pick your own Olympic event, is to have full clarity on what you want to accomplish. Just like the Olympians. Ask an Olympic swimmer what they're doing in March of an Olympic year, and they can tell you the exact thing they will be doing. They have one event 4 years out, and they architect everything backwards. They train their blocks, their diet, their sleep, even who they spend time with. Every input into their life is either training for the event or recovering from it. There's not a third category. Now ask yourself, what is your event? You most likely don't know. You don't know what you are fighting for. You've never made the conscious decision to become an Olympian in your own life. So if you don't do that, it becomes very hard to make decisions, because you don't know if a commitment, whatever commitment, is helping you towards that goal. And also, you don't know what you should be doing 3 weeks from now. You have a vague idea of what you should be devoting your time to, but you may very well be derailed by another shiny object that sounds good in the moment, but it truly doesn't help. And that's the whole difference. Every time you consciously commit to a goal, it's a decision that cascades into your life. And if you commit to it, everything else gets renegotiated to the point that you rewire your brain to go all in on it. That deep, subconsciously generated commitment that is emotionally resonant, so you care about it. It's not a vague vision, it's an actual commitment. It's an Olympic medal, is something that gives meaning to your life, becomes the destination upon which your behavior rewires. Your mind locks into it like a heat-seeking missile, and everything you do becomes a stepping stone for you to become the kind of athlete that achieves it. It's so crucial to decide on your Olympics. And that's how you become an Olympian. And I know you haven't been told this before. You've told that being a winner and having a winning mindset, it's all about, thinking positive and all that stuff. No, it's about subconsciously committing to something that is meaningful to you and never ever skipping a session. The more you skip sessions, the more you prove to yourself that you are not to be trusted. Every I'll start on Monday, or just give me 5 minutes for this research, or I'll just do it tomorrow, breaks the self-trust you need to get to the event that you have chosen for your life. That's the most important takeaway of this video. That's why you can have two founders in exactly the same skill, talent, capital, money. But if one is consistently breaking his own promises, he will not amount to much, because trust is a ledger. And the best way to build an hyper competitive brain is by choosing what game you want to win and then re-architecting everything in your life to go after it. And do so in a way that you have recovery programmed in. Because just as athletes train hard, recovery is part of their training. So you must push yourself outside of your comfort zone and then recover. And notice that nothing in this video said do less. Do less is subtraction. It's being amateurish on just less things. What I'm telling you is a different category entirely. It's unearthing the one destination that already pulls you, re-architecting your brain around it. Train daily, track every session, and show up at a level you currently can't believe is available to you. That's the opposite of minimalism. That's maximum ambition on the thing that matters most, which is the difference between amateurs and athletes. Every elite athlete has 3 things: an event, a training log, and a coach. Founders who succeed also have an event, a training log, and a coach. And if you want to become a founder athlete, if you want the help you need to actually go after your Olympics of your own making, which can be scaling your business to 10 plus million a year. It can be selling your business. It can be IPOing. It doesn't matter. We've seen it all. You need a destination. You need a training log, and you need a proven coach. If you want help, you know where to find us. See you in the next video.